So how does this episode really fit us? Neither one of us have kids that went back to school, but we're going to drink like the kids went back to school.
You know, we are in support of those that are around us. We feel you. And
we support you mothers. So we're going to drink for you and show you how to drink.
Yes. I mean, there's never a bad thing. Never a bad thing. I even got little props that, because I did see one that had a little
clip. Yeah.
A little clip. And then I found my paper clip.
So the coolest photos I've seen. My one networking group, there's this guy, Russell. He's still got 2 teenage daughters. And they showed back to school photos. Russell's sitting in the pool, swim trunks on, no shirt, glasses, holding a martini glass. And the kids are with backpacks on, standing beside the pool. Now that's a back to school photo.
That's hilarious.
I wish I could have got the photo and showed it to you. But anyway.
You gotta have fun. You absolutely have to have fun.
It's like we all do that. I mean, and our photographer in our group was talking about that. He goes, everybody does here he is standing by the bus, ready to go back to school.
Right. Yeah.
So now I know that guy Russell's not listening tonight because they're having a pizza party tonight that I wanted to go to, but I have our show.
Yeah. Sometimes, this can get in the way. Apologies, y'all, making you drink,
we picked the night of the week that when we picked this night of the week, I had nothing going on Monday nights. I hardly ever did anything on Monday nights. Now it's like every month I've got one or three conflicts, and I'm like, there's only 4 Mondays in a month. Still got to do a show anyway.
Right? No, it cracks me up. But it seems that my Tuesdays are actually the craziest the craziest day or the easiest day of my week. Now it's like Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Friday. I have something going on all the time.
Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, Tuesdays, Thursdays. I get to work from the office now, and I'm usually using my Tuesdays to run out to one of my rental properties that's under construction.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but other than that, it's Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I've got meetings out of the house in the morning, so it's like I'll be going in the morning from like 8 a.m. till like sometimes 2 in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you're just go.
Yeah. But anyway, but back to school. You know what back to school means for me? It means there's more traffic on the road.
Yes. Yeah. I remember sometimes going, man, there's not a whole lot of traffic. What's going on? And it's like, oh, kids are,
the kids aren't in school. Yeah, that's why. You would think kids in school there would be less traffic, but no. That's when when the kids are off, that's when everybody takes vacations.
Right.
So anyway. So
I'm trying to get a good picture here, and I don't know.
I'm not even going to try. You do not want to see what my desk looks like. It is horrible looking. It looks like, everybody went back to school and left the trash on my desk, my office floor, everything. I've got kids' toys flown all across behind me. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to see if I can get a good picture here because I got all my goodies. There you go. Yay.
Hold on.
There you go. Even better.
Back to school, baby. So I do have the 2 most important things because I thought about back to school. We have a drink that we're going to do called the Back to School Tini, and I don't have some of the things that I thought were in my liquor cabinet. Can you believe people actually emptied my liquor cabinet? Not me. I wouldn't empty my liquor cabinet. Other people did that.
Well, I actually checked last week because we were supposed to do this last week. Even the best of us have internet issues sometimes. It seemed that there was an issue with Tim's Wi-Fi last week, and so we had to postpone. So I had checked because I thought I remembered that I had Malibu. It wasn't at the home bar, but it was at the office bar. So I had that. Of course, I knew I had grenadine. I have like 3 of these.
I have grenadine. Yeah.
Then, of course, I think I have Tito's. But what I did pull was my Crater Lake, which I have. However, I
need another bottle of that, by the way.
Oh, I'm going to get it. This M vodka, it's a Portland original. It was given to me. This is Neutral Grains. It's by Bull Run Distillery in Portland. So I thought I need to try this to see how it tastes. I haven't tried it by itself still open. So I thought that this one would go well with the pencil eraser because there is cranberry juice and lemon juice. And so I thought, and simple syrup. So I thought, well, maybe this will go well with the mixed because I don't know if I'm going to like it. And since the Crater Lake, I know it's yummy.
Crater Lake is great by itself, whereas
Yep.
Usually I got to admit to you, I'm not a Tito's fan, but Tito's goes better in a mixed drink to me.
Right.
I mean, you just do it, a Tito's and one other option, not for me. Tito's in a mixed drink, though, yes. So
we got to see what works best for the drink,
Yeah.
So that one's the cranberry. So I ended up getting for the pencil eraser the signature brand because it was on sale.
Yeah.
And actually, I was very impressed. This only has 5 calories, and it has total carbs 2 grams, only 20 milligrams of sodium, and less than 1 gram of sugar. And then, of course, you get 60 milligrams of vitamin C and potassium. So I was like, compared to the regular cranberry juice, which had 190 calories, and it was 38 grams, I think, of sugar. And I went, you know what? I'm adding simple syrup to this drink. I'm going to go with this one.
You read labels too much.
The reason I read labels is because when my mama was on dialysis, there was I had to read labels on everything to see if it was something I could give to her or not, if she should be eating something or not. And so I got used to reading labels. So I do that. I look at sugar content, potassium, sodium. Those are the main things that I looked at, which is quite interesting.
I read the interesting stuff. Dripping Springs vodka, handcrafted from the Texas Hill Country.
There you go. There you go. So what I didn't look at the labels was what I did get as our Lunchables. So I did get different types of Lunchables because, of course, we have our Lunchables.
When the kids go back to school, we think Lunchables. If you've ever had these in your offices, though, as an adult, and eaten these in your office as an adult, go ahead and put me in the comments.
Right.
Because I got to tell you, I used to have these in my office fridge all the time.
Well, they're easy, and now they're big.
The healthier ones. Not the Lunchables. I had the healthier ones.
Right. This one is a little bit bigger. This is not your regular smaller. Then they have actually one that's even a little bit bigger than this. You can do a pizza one. This one's a Transformers one, only in theaters. And Scan to Build Your Bot. So that one's kind of fun. Mine is ham and cheddar cracker stackers with vanilla cream cookie. So mine has cookies in it.
Turkey.
Oh, you got an Oreo.
Mine has an Oreo into it. It's got 2 Oreos into it. Turkey and American crackers. It says chocolate cream cookies. So
okay, because I can't call it Oreo if it. Yeah, so that's mine. The other thing that I got was a hot calabrese salami. So there was various types, but because hot calabrese is something that I don't think I've had before, I thought I'd have this. This one is Gouda cheese. That was the other thing. So I had Gouda cheese and hot calabrese, 2 things that I normally do not buy. And so I thought, well, let me try it here. And then toasted rounds. Now, when you look at the Lunchables has 340 calories, 7 grams of saturated fat, 700 milligrams of sodium, and 14 grams of sugar. That's what's in here. Whereas this one has 310 calories, 60 milligrams of sugar, 980 milligrams. Let's see, your sodium, 810, 10 carbs. Oh, that's only 6 sugars and 13 grams of protein. Good job. 300. Yeah. Mine has 16 grams of protein and 2 sugars in this one.
So mine is smoked uncured pepperoni. I've got some olives in mine, and it looks like white cheddar.
Okay.
And then I have little chocolates. So
the other one that
I'm going to show you guys the inside.
Oh, that is pretty. I'm going to get the side-by-side of your Lunchable against this one because I want a picture of that. Because I think that's kind of important to have. So the other thing that I get is, which I've done, the balanced breaks. This one is Monterey Jack cheese, dried cranberries, dark chocolate chunks, and banana chips. So this is, again, a new one. It comes in a pack of 3. It was on sale. So this one's kind of fun as a snack. And this one, I don't have because I have the label, it's in the fridge. But this is one that I have eaten before.
So with this one here, it doesn't have any crackers into it. I always keep some water. I love the table water crackers. I always have them around anyway. So
yeah, and some of this stuff you could just pair with something else, like, you know, you could just leave this out, or you can put it in with on a tray to make it look pretty, because nobody's going to know. Now, I did read that it says, you know, you go to a fancy schmancy restaurant. Oh, I love it. And you ask for a Lunchable, and it says, but put it on a very expensive wooden plate, and charge me 10 times as much. So, and call it some fancy name. So call it charcuterie, but give me a Lunchable. That's essentially what you're getting, is an adult. A charcuterie is an adult Lunchable.
Well,
so,
I remind you guys, I did not have the stuff for the appletini. So what I'm going to make is something that I always love. Usually what I drink most of the time is a bourbon. As most of you guys know, I have some Angel's Envy here, but I have something that I can always whip in to make, and that is I've got, see, she's got to make the fancy tray. I got me some grape beer juice. All right, some ginger beer and vodka. And what does that make, ladies and gentlemen? Anyone? Anyone? What does that make?
A mule. A mule. Of course, it's a mule.
A mule. Right? So, and of course, I always have the stirrers here. I always have everything I can make a mule. Let's put some ice in there. Put a little bit of vodka in here.
So I'm going to be making a couple of different things. One of them, I'm going to have to make it into a third, because it does make 3 cocktails, and I don't need 3 cocktails. So, because I don't have, although somebody did walk in, I should have offered her a cocktail. So to make the Back to School Tini, Olive Jude, I got it from his website. It essentially 2 ounces of vodka, a half an ounce of Malibu coconut rum, a half an ounce of apple juice. So I ended up with Mott's. I thought that I was going to get an apple juice, but then I saw these little guys. They were like, I don't know, $1 more. And I thought, well, these are kind of cute, because sometimes you just need a little bit, and I don't need my apple juice to just sit there and me not drink it. So I got these guys, a splash of grenadine, and then, of course, your apple or your garnish. And so, of course, I have my my martini glass. The pencil eraser, that one calls for vodka. It calls for cranberry juice. It calls for simple syrup, strawberries, and, of course, lemon. You could also use your real lemon if you want to do that. I do have real lemon. You muddle everything, and then you pour it. For that one, I have another little glass. But I'm going to start with the pencil, with the Back to School Tini, because that one just sounded like the most fun to start with. So, and you
really, anything's a Back to School Tini if you're celebrating your kids going back to school,
right? It's supposed to make you go like back to normal, and it was really cute, because the pencil eraser, it's the perfect back to school remedy, is what they call it, because you made it just right to the end. Entire summer will erase itself from your mind. And so that one I thought was kind of funny. But there is a back to school list besides all the things you're supposed to buy. And I know with Rotary, we did a back to school drive with the Family Empowerment Center, which is it's within the Wilsonville Westland School District, that helps underprivileged kids that need their school supplies. So we donated, I think it was like 70 some odd, or maybe 100 backpacks with all the supplies in it. We've been doing that for the last few years. And then there are various organizations that do help with that. But there is another one, parenting.org. They had a different back to school list. It says, getting them excited. So rah, rah for school, and shop till you drop. So always hitting the stores together. Reestablish a bedtime routine, celebrate the first day of school or the first day of school eve, make your child a morning person. I don't know how anybody can make a child a morning person if they're not.
My mother tried that for 18 years. It didn't work.
It never worked, right? Then it says to continue the learning throughout the summer so that they're not in shock when they go back to school, returning to routine, so start doing it ahead of time. Help your child be a goal setter and a goal getter. Brush up on school behavior. That's always a good thing. And then setting the stage for a healthy school year with good physical and mental health, making sure that their vaccinations, their hearing, everything is checked. Touch base with the teachers and think positive, be positive. So I thought that was kind of cool. So that was some of the stuff that I looked at. But did you know what state is the most apple producing state?
Washington?
Yes, it is. Washington. 60% of all apples are grown up here. Now, the apple that I picked was Cosmic Crisp. This is a newer apple. It is modified to where it does not brown as quickly as most apples. It is still absolutely delicious. It reminds me of a Honey Crisp. This is the Cosmic Crisp. The price has come down since I first bought it. But there's also the Red Delicious, Gala, Granny Smith, Fuji, Honey Crisp. New York is number 2. Michigan, Pennsylvania, California, Virginia, and Oregon. Now, worldwide, do you know what country produces the most apples?
I was going to go with Ireland.
No, it is China. 47% of the world's apples. And then somebody said that the U.S. was number 2, but actually it is Turkey and then the U.S., followed by Poland, India, Russia, Italy, Iran, France, Chile, Uzbekistan, South Africa, Ukraine, Germany, and Brazil. Places that I did not know about were Italy and Iran and India. I was very surprised. So there are a lot of countries producing millions of tons of apples, but China.
India kind of, I would expect higher in India, but Iran, no. Italy, because Italy, you think about it, a lot of things we probably should do in Italy night. A lot of the foods that people in Italy have are like, it's not like most of the time we think Italy, they go, they're having spaghetti and meatballs. No. These guys have spread,
And the thing is that I think of grapes and olives that are being grown in Italy. That's what I think the most of is what's being grown there. So that was kind of interesting to notice. So I was like going, interesting. So the other thing that I, of course, had to dive deep into because Lunchables. So Lunchables, do you know the history on Lunchables?
Mm-hmm.
So it was designed in 1985 by Bob Drain, Christine James, Jeff James, David Wosolski, and Deborah Gria Russo as a way for Oscar Mayer to sell more bologna and other Lunchable meats. And they organized a focus group in American mothers, and they discovered that the primary concern for mothers was time. So they repackaged snacks and meals for children, and it was first introduced in Seattle in 1988. And then in 1989, it was released nationally. And so it came, by just because they wanted to sell more meat. How do we make it? And how do we help mothers not feel guilty about not doing enough for their children? So it was a convenient lunch that could be given to kids as a gift. First, it was just simple packages of crackers, cheese, and meat, but it's expanded. Now, as I mentioned, there's pizza, there's hot dogs, hamburgers, tacos, nachos. I actually almost got the nacho one, but I figured I'd be disappointed, and I wanted the original, so that's why I didn't go with that. And they went with crackers instead of bread because, of course, longer lasting, and they were designed to look like wrapping paper, and they were an instant hit, 200 million in the first year.
Mm-hmm.
200 million. Ooh, piece of ice. Got ice back here. That I was like surprised with. And it's one of the most popular meals for children nowadays. and they're found all over, not only in supermarkets, but also cafeterias in school. And so it's actually kind of nice. They're even dabbing into breakfast, which I did see, and I was like, nope. But I thought that was quite interesting, where the history on Lunchables. I thought that was awesome. So that's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
Yes, I'm going to try this, but I want to try it by itself first, since this is a new vodka that I've not tried before, and hopefully I can open it. Ooh, okay, here we go. I'm going
When
to
trying new alcohol, always have a cup there to try it by itself.
It is. Okay. Ooh, okay. I do feel the strength of it. It does give me a little bit of a bite. This is a newer distillery, or a newer vodka. It's been since 2004. It's a salute to the families that have Russian heritage, and it's the first spirit that was made by the first distillery and has been with them ever since. Best enjoyed with friends, and it was Lee Motolev. So this one, 80%, 80 proof, as is the Crater Lake.
If you thought about how to do a vodka tasting, go back to our very first episode where we tasted 3 great vodkas.
Yes.
Of course, that was 117 episodes and 3 or 4 years ago.
Right? We're growing, y'all. We're having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
So half an ounce of Malibu, which I normally don't drink a whole lot of Malibu, but so we're going to do a half an ounce. The funny thing is, I always thought Malibu was creamy, and then when I actually saw it, I was going, "Oh, not at all."
Show the people what it looks like by itself.
Oh, it's clear. Malibu's clear.
You didn't pour it into a cup. I want to show people what it looked like.
No, I poured it in here. I can pour it into a little cup now.
You don't have a clear, yeah.
I'll pour it into where I'm going to pour it in, just so that you can see it.
Yeah, this is what we need to do. See, look at how clear that is, ladies and gentlemen. You would think, like when you taste it, you'd think it was a milky, like a milky product. It's not. It is a rum. It is a clear rum. Yeah.
Nom, nom, nom. Pernod Richard imports this, so it is imported. So I've done that. Apple juice, so a half an ounce of apple juice. I'm going to use my little straw here. Let's see if it doesn't squirt out, like, because apple juice. Making a little bit of a mess there. Throw that over there. And a splash of grenadine.
By the way, desk cleaning day is on Tuesday for us. In case you didn't know, Tuesday morning our desks are so sticky.
I clean it up before I leave for the day, because otherwise I will make a mess.
I kind of do too, because I just can't work on a sticky desk the next morning. So last week, ladies and gentlemen, to show you what Texas does, my internet that was put in back in February, March, when my internet was put in, they buried the cable. And in Texas, the ground shifts back and forth with the heat and contraction, and the ground cut my cable. It cracked and cut my cable underground. They had to run a whole brand new cable to my house. We were almost 48 hours without internet last week. And it literally broke an hour before the show. Okay, is that the eraser or is that the back to school teeny?
It's the back to school teeny. And I guess I should get a picture with
What's it taste like? Does the coconut and the rum come out?
It's I can actually taste the vodka coming through. The grenadine is just giving a color and a slight hint of sugar, but not a whole lot. It doesn't have. It's not too appley, so it's not too sweet. It gives it just enough of a hint of taste in there. And the coconut, it could use a little bit more coconut rum, in my opinion. But it all depends on which direction you want it. Oh, there's the apple. Got the apple right there. Okay.
So,
I'm sorry, my ham looks like bologna, in my opinion.
I mean, that recipe looked a little heavier on the vodka than it did the rum.
Yeah.
I was wondering about that because I was going to try to make it because I didn't have the rum. But I would bet it would affect the taste.
Did you know that my bologna has a first name?
Yeah? What is it? Go ahead. First person to sing it in the comments.
OSCAR. My bologna has a second name. K-M-Y-E-R. Oscar Mayer, something or other.
Things that Oscar Mayer has done to promote their business is very unique.
That stays in our mind.
The Oscar Mayer jingle, the very thing that we're having tonight. All right, the Lunchables, an Oscar Mayer thing that started this whole concept. What is the third Oscar Mayer promotional thing that goes year round?
Oh, you expect me to remember this stuff?
If you've seen one of them, you'd never forget one.
This is a pretty looking drink, I will say, though.
To our listeners, what is the one Oscar Mayer tool that they use to promote their product?
The Wienermobile.
Huh?
The Wienermobile.
The Wienermobile.
Yes. The Wienermobile.
Had I known about the Wienermobile program when I got out of school,
you would have jumped on it.
I would have applied for that for a year.
Yeah, they still have it going on. It's great. And then did you hear that they stole the catalytic converter from the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile?
Oh, I don't hear that stuff. If it's in the news, I'm not going to hear it.
And it was out here, only I missed it when they were out here. So it's actually good.
There are tons of them driving around. You know that.
I did not know this. That they had people.
It is a program, and I forget how many of them they put out a year. It's like college students, all right? You actually, when you graduate college, you apply, and it go through the process. If you get this, you get to drive around the Wienermobile to different stops around the country just to promote it. That's your job for a year, and it's like an internship.
Yeah, and you do get paid, but you don't get paid a whole lot.
It's not paid a whole lot, but all your expenses are covered to drive around the country in the Wienermobile. I'm going to tell you.
You get to travel and be around the Wienermobile?
I would have done that in a heartbeat. And I know most people are like, well, I don't know, Wienermobile is weird looking. I would have done that in a heartbeat. That would have been the coolest job. And maybe someday we can get somebody who drives the Wienermobile to come on our show, because that is a unique job just out there. All right. The only other job that I think has topped that, and it's not the same. It's kind of local more than it is like a regional like that. Is the Red Bull people? Remember the Red Bull girls? Where basically they drive the Red Bull car, and they would come to bars and they would pour Red Bull and for you.
Right.
That was the only thing that was trying to. I want to say the only thing that was almost as cool as the Wienermobile. But I think they usually mostly girls in that. So that promotion. But the Wienermobile, you got the same outfit. You've got basically a small RV that you're driving around from place to place just to do presentations, promotions.
Yep.
Your expenses are paid, or there's a per capita expense paid per day.
Right.
And
It's for guys like me who would live on the road if I had the chance. That's my dream job. You do know that Craig actually one time said to me, this is way before I met you. He said, you should buy an RV and you should wrap the RV, right, with your stuff and go drive around the country. And I'm like, because Craig and I met a guy. I met him first, but I introduced him to Craig, who does that with it. He did that with his life coach radio, I think he was called. And that's all he did was drive an RV wrapped with his picture and his stuff around the country and promote and do radio shows. Craig said to me, why don't you do that? And I said, Craig, if I do, I won't put my picture on the side and I will disappear. You'll never see me again. I will be driving from town to town hiding. Anyway.
So I will tell you this, this hot Calabrese salami.
Yeah.
Absolutely delicious. The Back to School Tini completely tones it down. It really, because it was like spicy and it was like, whoa, that is, it's got a kick. It goes very well with the Gouda. It goes well with the apple tini. So no complaints there. And then the ham and cheddar with the crackers goes well with that too. It is a very mild drink. And because it is mild, y'all, you need to be very careful. Whenever you get one of those cocktails that is very sippable and very yummy and very much sit on the patio, that's the one you have to really watch, because you're like, oh, it's light, it's fine. It's 2 liquors. You got 80 proof vodka and you got rum in there. It will get you, and before you know it. So be very, very careful with that. So that's all I got to say about that. Now, I'm going to make the pencil eraser. I got it from Sippity Sup. That's who created it. And it's from keyingredients.com. And they love to call it the pencil eraser because it's a big, perfect back to school remedy, because you can make it just like the entire summer, just erase itself from your mind. And it does make 3 cocktails. So I'm going to make this, I'm going to third this because that's a little too much, which means I'll probably have, instead of 1 lemon, I'm probably going to have a quarter of a lemon. Instead of 3 strawberries, I'll do 1. Instead of 4 ounces of simple syrup, I'll do like 1 1/4. And it calls for 6 ounces of vodka. I will do like between 1.5 to 2. And then it says for 1 ounce cranberry juice, that I'll probably do the full ounce of cranberry juice. That's okay. It's juice and only 5 calories and hardly any sugar. That's pretty good. So we're going to muddle the lemon, the strawberries, the simple syrup. We're going to muddle that, then add the ice, the vodka, the cranberry juice, shake, shake, shake. And then because it's not a martini, I could pour it back in here, but instead I might decide to put it into my little round one just to make it a little different. So that's what I'm going to do.
I mean, while you're doing it, I'll talk about the actual putting with things with glasses and matching it up.
Yeah, and the thing is, you don't have to completely match up everything. It's okay to move things around. I did have some strawberries that are a little bit more ripe than others, so I'm going to throw the more ripe ones in here. And I'm going to do 2 strawberries instead of just 1 because I really like strawberries, so I want like a lot of strawberry flavor in there. And then, of course,
I mean, when I go out, I have Buffalo Trace whiskey most every place where I go.
Right.
Because I really don't have it at home. It's hard as hell to keep at home.
Right.
But I went out. I was out someplace in the last 2 weeks that they basically said, "Well, we're out of short glass. Can we put it in tall glass for now?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay." I'm going to tell you right now. As soon as they had a short glass come back available, I poured it into a short glass. So it just did not go well in a tall, it was one of these, but it was a tall glass. It did not go well.
Now, there's certain things that you do need to have. I mean, you can always, there's certain ones that you can absolutely pour however you like, but there's other things that you're like, no, not so much. No, that does not go well. Again, I use the lower sugar cranberry juice because I knew I was going to add simple syrup, and I thought, do I really need that much sugar in my drink? So that's why I went that direction. If you do not have a muddler and you don't have a shaker, you know what? That's okay. Get a wooden spoon. Yeah.
Get one.
Get one. Yes, number one. But get a wooden spoon. That works pretty well.
Do you remember, like, before I got my muddler, I called my friend Tim, who does the woodworking in Pennsylvania, and I said, "Hey, can you make me one?" And he's like, "Dude," he said, "go to Amazon and buy one and stamp your logo on it. It's cheaper."
You can stamp the logo on it at Amazon?
There are places in Amazon you can put a logo on it.
Okay.
Because I wanted to do it with our logo.
Okay, that'll be fun.
Well,
we have been in the talks, y'all, of different things that we want to present to you, just so that you all know. So I'm sure I've talked about it, that I have 2 books on health insurance as well as how to attract quality staff. My next book has nothing to do with what I do. My next book, I'm starting
101 cocktails we made on our show.
Ooh, I like that. I'm starting to use Craig's Post-it notes. I tried to do it a different way. It wasn't working out for me. And I said, Craig Duswald's way of writing a book absolutely works. So this was today. I did, some of the Post-its. I'm not doing the big Post-its. I'm doing the little Post-its. But that is going to help me. It was supposed to be, I like the 101 cocktails. That actually, I might switch it around. What I was looking at is by season. So cocktails and food by season. But 101, that might work. So
like the way you drink 101 cocktails you can make from home.
Make it nice and simple. I'm going to write this down because all the ideas are going on the board.
Wait, I came up with a simple, easy idea? I can't believe that.
101 cocktails to make from home. What was that?
101 cocktails you can make from home.
Which is going to be super easy. And the whole point is to also have title right in the middle. So the whole point is to get all of our ideas onto here and then put them into chapters. There's a whole process, and Craig Duswald's way, his process works for me. So I'm going to go that direction. So, got that. I need to complete my cocktail. I have not. Been a little distracted, mister. I've been a little distracted. So we're going to add
this here's his show, all right? He just says how we're geniuses. That just shows how long I've been in his mastermind that I can come up with an idea that quick. Oh.
Appreciate you, Craig. Thanks for being here. How did you know we were going to be talking about you? So, yes.
You want to get more ideas like that? We can pitch Craig's event, all right? I think we get 25. I think we get 75% of the tickets we sell, right, Craig?
I like the way you think. Just like I like the way you drink.
Tickets are on sale now for September in Dallas. They're only $297 each. Send your money to Tim and Gladys, all right, and we'll buy the ticket for you.
Craig does put on
September 26th to 28th. It is in Dallas, and yes, he's doing an event here in Dallas. I know it. I know it very well. He said, yes, okay, we've got it in print. 75% is our money, ladies and gentlemen. We love Craig. I think he's got a deal up there. Go to his website. I think it's rockstarmarketingbootcamp.com or craigduswald.com. And he's got tickets. You want to learn marketing like the two of us did? It is literally, that's where we learned it from. All right. And I will be there at the September event. I don't know if Gladys is going to make it down. I'm pushing her to come down, but yeah.
So I will have to tell you, I did send Craig out of the box idea because Craig always comes up there. He has
rockyourlifeconference.com.
So there was this one guy that sent his resume. He actually sent, I think, donuts or whatever it was to the the hiring manager, recruiter, whatever it was, and it says the resume was in there. It says, well, most resumes end up in the trash. I figured yours will end up in your tummy. Here's my resume. So it was a completely different way to put a resume in front of somebody to make them memorable. I will tell you, and I will tell you, Craig, you might be able to use this. When I was 15 and a half, literally 15 and a half, I was looking for a job. So on all applications, I put 15 and a half because I figured, well, I'm not 16 yet, but they're not going to hire a 15-year-old. But if I put 15 and a half, then they'll know that I'm halfway to getting to 16. They might hire me. So I put in a bunch of applications. I went back to this one restaurant and I was sitting there. The manager, he's helping somebody. I'm waiting patiently. He looked up at me and he says, 15 and a half. And I said, yep. He goes, I got your resume. He goes, I'll call you. I said, okay. And I left. Sure enough, that Saturday, I get a call. Can you come in today? So through high school, that's where I worked. And I got two of my other friends hired there. You know what? It was a restaurant job. It was kind of a burger joint, but it was a little bit classier than just your traditional burger joint. But that was my first job. But I did something to make myself
stand up,
differentiate myself from anybody else. The 15 and a half worked for me. Can I do that now? No. Am I going to put 51 and a half? Well, I think I'm 51 and 3/4 at this point. But
yeah, we're not going to talk about how old we are now. All right, let's not a different subject. All right, and she's wearing the school girl uniform.
I wasn't planning on doing the pigtails last week, but I did have another little outfit that had the little collar. I wasn't going to wear the same thing again, so I did a little different. But I wanted to have somewhat of a schoolgirl outfit, and then I decided, pigtails are in order. People are going back to school. I'm not going to be a teacher. Oh, there was this really cute video that I did see. Yeah, my ear.
Oh, you were in the Hot for Teacher Van Halen video. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
Don't get me started. I got stories. It wasn't me, but so it was calling, and it said teachers with students that had interesting names, and there was my favorite one was NMOPQ, and so the teacher was trying to pronounce it, and they said, "Oh, that's so cute." No, the name is Noel, because there was Noel in the name. They were talking about just the interesting names that are now coming up that makes it difficult for teachers to try to figure out names. But anyway, the Noel.
Aaron. We have a guy in our networking group that's Aaron, and he says, "Hi, I'm Aaron."
He has 2 A's.
Yeah.
Aaron.
Why not? I mean, people who learn to make fun of themselves are usually the ones that will help you stand out. It makes you do something very unique. Just like we created this podcast to be very unique, very different. And I've had a lot of people go, wait a minute, you have a drinking podcast? Like, yes, we do. We drink online. Speaking of podcasts, by the way, in Dallas, Gladys, on September 25th, I will be doing a podcasting lunch and learn for people who want to learn how to do a podcast. Now, we're going to do 4 different areas. How to build your studio, which you see the studios around us, and how we make them work. Number 2, all right, the types of podcasts you can do, which, of course, I'm going to talk about, hey, we do a drinking podcast.
Yeah.
Right? And we promote our businesses in a drinking podcast. There's a way to do it. All right. And then we're going to talk about marketing. I got my buddy Craig's going to stop by, do a little some tips on marketing your podcast, because he's a great marketing expert. And then I'm going to talk about how to make money with your podcast. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to give away the secret. We are going to teach you one of the ways to make money with your podcast is with no audience. You want to find out more? Go to simpleeasyevents.com.
Oh, I kind of like the pencil eraser.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get it over.
Okay, and the pencil eraser, does a vodka spike the cranberry juice? Or does the cranberry juice still pull the flavor out?
The lemon and the cranberry juice mesh very well. The strawberries in there. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's strawberry forward.
Okay, I'll bet you anything. I can tell me if I'm close on the taste. I know you've had this. Starbucks passion tea lemonade. I'm close, ain't I?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That lemon gives it that lemony citrusy. The strawberries in there. The cranberry does not. Okay, so
The strawberry and the cranberry are going to be competing. They're two berries that will fight.
Yes, but because this cranberry is not sweet, it allows the strawberry to come through. Now, I did get those riper strawberries in there to allow that sweetness in. And I also allowed it to sit in the lemon juice. The lemon juice will allow the strawberry to pull out the sweetness.
But you also used real strawberries, not a strawberry syrup.
Correct.
Because a strawberry syrup would not do that. The strawberry syrup, while it will give you the sweetness, will not give you the flavor that a real strawberry muddled will.
Yeah, no, this one, because we were chatting. So one of the things that I do is that I make a fruit salad, and I mix honey, a little bit of sugar, lemon, ginger, and lemon juice, and I let it and mint.
Yeah,
all chopped up. I let it sit for a little bit, and then I pour it on top of the cut up fruit. It allows the fruit to bring out its juiciness and all the sweetness, and it tastes absolutely delicious. Well, I let the strawberry and the lemon sit there for a little bit before I added the vodka, before I added the cranberry juice. So the lemon allowed the sweetness of that strawberry to come through. And so you got some delicious strawberry. This is the color. It has more red color than the grenadine, because the grenadine was just mainly color.
The grenadine doesn't have a strong flavor to it. It doesn't overpower your drink. All right. And mint. All right. I'm not even having mint. Like, that's the one thing of the drink I'm doing I wished I had. Real raw mint. You muddle real raw mint and this grapefruit. The grapefruit mule, and oh my god, the mint will punch every time, man. It brings out more flavors. And I can't think that I've done paperclip. Yeah, I can't think if I've done mint with a strawberry yet in a drink. I don't think I have.
I don't remember if we have or have not.
I don't think we've not done that. I know we've done mint, all right, with different drinks in there, but mint and strawberry. I want to say now we did do strawberry and lemonade a couple weeks back. We put strawberries and lemonades. All right. Remember that?
I didn't, because I do have some mint in the fridge. I think it was from that, because it is still kind of hanging in there.
Yeah.
So my Lunchable with the ham and the cheddar went very well with the pencil eraser. I'm going to go with the hot caprese salami and the, what is it? Gouda cheese.
You know, it was good. So mine had the white cheddar, the pepperoni, excuse me, and then I used my water crackers. Oh my god! And just, to me, I had a hard time deciding which one was better. But my drink is just to die for this week, because it is grapefruit juice, ginger beer, and vodka.
Well, I did have a ginger beer yesterday. I was craving ginger beer. It was in the fridge. I had it by itself. I just poured it into a pretty glass. Cock and bull.
I think I can do that right now while we're talking about that. I have some ice.
Oh, good.
You know, ginger beer. Everybody thinks ginger ale. Ginger beer is just a little bit different.
It doesn't have that sweetness.
Don't inhale when you drink. Did you catch that, Bill? Don't inhale. Sorry. Some of you from the 90s will get that joke.
This one is a little bit sweeter. So it definitely cuts the hotness in here, because it is spicy. So it does go very well here. And it definitely went well with my just regular Lunchable.
You didn't have any snacks with yours? Like, I had olives with mine, and I had chocolates. None of that?
No. I have a cookie, but I didn't want to ruin it, so the cookies are staying aside.
The cookies didn't. Like, I had those Oreos. They did not go well with it. All right. And Oreo is always a cool cookie, but I'm sorry, it does not go with these drinks. And I just kind of threw them off to the side.
I don't think this, because these are so sweet, those are going to be staying aside.
You know what cookies we have to do on our podcast? What cookies do you think we should do on our podcast if we ever get them?
Mint.
Let's go with what brand of cookies we should get.
Girl Scout. Haven't we done that? Oh, so I will tell you all, last year I bought a bunch of Girl Scout cookies. And I was going to ship them to Tim, and things happened. I didn't ship them. We kind of pushed things off. I ended up with a bunch of Girl Scout cookies. I ended up like, here, I gave away a bunch of Girl Scout cookies. I spent way more on Girl Scout cookies last year than I ever have in, well, no. When I was in junior high, Tiffany, my friend Tiffany, would sell me a box of Girl Scout cookies for 1 week every day. I'd buy a box and I would eat it and sometimes two. I would eat 1 to 2 boxes of Girl Scout cookies for a whole week. Yeah, thanks, Tiffany. But you know what? The Girl Scouts gave her a full ride to, I think it was UC Santa Barbara. So she was a Girl Scout around. And
you hear my grandson? You can hear my grandson crying in the background. He's just having a tough night. He's crawling now.
Oh, sweet. This one was good. I like it. I really did. But it's a little bit sweeter. So the apple teeny or back to school teeny was a little bit better just because it wasn't as sweet. But again, pencil eraser, you got to really watch it again because it is a very soothing, yummy, drinkable drink.
I bet it because of sweetness, it'll kick your butt real quick.
It's the simple syrup. So the good thing is that low sugar on the cranberry. You got the sugar from the strawberries. You got the sugar from the simple syrup. And then you have the vodka and the lemon. So it is not too sugary the way that I made it. So it just depends on what you are using for you.
Yeah.
So you really got to watch what you do because if you don't do it right, it can spank you and you'll be feeling it. And then the next day you'll be miserable. We do not want you to be miserable. We want you to enjoy what you're drinking. And what
that was one of the things I noticed about the back to school type drinks. And again, we went through, I think, 6 of them on different websites.
Mm-hmm.
Was a lot of them they're knocker outers, right? Like, and that's probably why they're back to school. It's like, oh my gosh, ladies, let's get together. Let's party because the kids are back in school. About 3 days into it, you're going, you know what? Let's get back to regular life. This is knocking us too far. But I mean, I'm a guy who doesn't drink enough to get bombed. I'm a guy who sips things. I think I used to joke with Craig. All right, I was at one of his events one time that I had moonshine with a tea added to it, and I just sipped on it the whole weekend. Right? I mean, I had like 4 or 5 bottles of it, and I sipped on it the whole weekend. No one would ever know that I was sipping on alcohol because to me, it was a sipping, tasting drink. I wasn't gobbling it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it was the flavors that I put into it and the burn of the moonshine that I liked. It's not the, let's get drunk, let's drink, get drunk, And I went to I love my brother-in-law, but he's the guy. I was over at my brother-in-law's house over the weekend. And he's the guy that we open up a bottle of TX whiskey and it's gone in 3 hours. I'm not. I'm going to have, you know what I mean, a shot of whiskey every day, a single, maybe a double, and I'm going to sip on it for probably 2 hours.
Well, I've gotten a bottle. I had gotten a bottle of Oban.
Yeah.
On month 11, I was like, my Oban's almost gone. And then Sean gave me another bottle and it lasts me another 8, 9 months, maybe 10. So it does last, it just, and because when I do have it, I'm sipping on it. I was out with friends and they were doing, everybody got a shot and I did the, clank and I did a sip and they're like, you're not shooting it. I go, I'm not 22 years old. I'm not shooting my whiskey. I'm sipping it. This shot will last me half an hour to an hour. And it did. And so they were using me on, when is it time to get the next shot? Because I'm like sipping, drinking my bougie water. I was cold. I had bougie water. Yeah. And I was going between water and my whiskey. And it was my only drink of the night, and that was all I had. And I was okay with that. And so I was being teased like, oh yeah, her and her bougie water. And I had ordered a round of shots. And the bartender says, but you're not drinking. I said, yeah, but that doesn't mean I can't order shots for everybody else. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. But yeah, you can still enjoy. You really
I know.
can.
I remember now. I can remember the last time I got, shall we say, shit-faced drunk, right? It would have been the early 2000s. My brother Nathan was moving from Dallas to Chicago, and we had to go on a away party. And Nathan and I, we were at Dave and Buster's, Frisco, Texas, and Nathan and I just was like, yeah, let's do a round of Jaeger for everybody.
Oh,
Jaeger shots.
the last time I had a Jaeger shot, I had a cold, and it's because I had Jaeger and I did not have cold medicine. So
yeah, I don't drink Jaeger shots anymore like this. Well, Nathan and I started downing Jaeger shots, and when everybody else didn't drink it, we downed the rest of them because we paid for them, right? Yeah. I want to say we finished off 3 bottles of Jaeger between my brother and I.
ooh, wow.
We woke up 2 days later. Yeah. I don't drink like that anymore. Now, about the only time I ever drink Jaeger anymore, I did this in 2012. I was hosting one of my masterminds here in Dallas, Texas, one of my first masterminds. It was a nightly event I used to do, and it was a mastermind type event, and I did it to upsell my mastermind at the time. And I scheduled this thing 3 months out. I had a room. I had 10, 15 people in the room. I mean, the room could fit 10 people. I had 15 people in it. So it was a packed, small room. And I did this to do a mastermind type idea and everything. And I get to the front of the room and I can't talk. The guy who was working with me as a speaking coach at the time, and he was also in my mastermind. His name is Jeff. He's a great guy here in the Dallas area. He said, Tim, I'm going to teach you a secret and you're never going to want to hear it. He says, go to the bar and do a shot and down 2 shots of Jaeger.
Yep.
I downed 2 shots of Jaeger and I could talk for 60 minutes. And you could hear me. You could clearly understand me. And before I took the 2 shots of Jaeger, it was, hi, I'm Tim. I'm here to talk to you. I mean, I could not talk before it, but they like treated the throat muscles enough that I could get through the talk. And that is the only time now that I will do Jaeger. If I know, oh my God, I'm sick, I don't feel good, but I got to be on stage and do a 10-minute talk. All right. Or I got to do a 5-minute something. I'll do a shot of Jaeger. It'll soothe the throat muscles just enough that you will never know that I was sick.
I did that one time. I was at a Dayquil.
Oh, yeah.
Did Jaeger. I was fine. But one of my friends was like, I'm like, why are you going to taste that? I've never told you before. I'm like, all right. After you taste it, it's like, oh, yeah. And I said, I told you, but you got to learn it on your own. But both the pencil eraser and the Back to School Tini, delicious. I like both of them. Use low sugar cranberry juice.
Yeah.
Because that will just get to your head.
Real cranberry juice, not cranberry juice cocktail.
Yeah.
That's the difference. The cranberry juice cocktail has the sweeteners in it. All right. It is not a good drink mixer if you are not into sweet. Now, if you're into sweet, it's a good, but it is sugar loaded. I just noticed this in the comments. Yes, Craig, we are good at this stuff. We've been doing it for 117 episodes. After 117 episodes, we've learned flavor a little bit, guys. Just a little.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But, thank you all for being here today.
Yeah.
Hopefully all the kiddos are back to school, depending on the state you're in. They either started last week or they're starting this week. I remember when I was a wee little kid, Labor Day was the end of summer, and we knew the following week we'd start school.
Yeah, that was me growing up. Yeah.
Yeah, it was always the week. It wasn't the week of Labor Day. It was the week after Labor Day.
What part of the country did you grow up in?
LA.
LA. Okay, so no, I grew up East Coast. I was Poconos, which, you know, I was the western side of New York, whereas Craig, he was the eastern side of New York because he was in Long Island. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's like years ago it started where kids were back to school in August.
Here in Texas, they're back to school like the second week of August. But yeah, but I don't get it because Texas, the August is the heat, right? Type deal.
like where we grew up. I remember my junior year in high school, or maybe it was my senior year. I think it was both. That I went to Votech school, so I took mechanical drafting through Votech. I took half day Votech, half day regular school, and I remember the Votech school. They would not turn the AC on in the Votech school until May 15th every year, and literally we finished school the first week of June. Yeah. And that was because the way the heat worked, right? It was cheaper to warm the schools in the wintertime than it was to cool it during the summer times. Right. And I, as I live in Texas, I wonder, like, as these kids go back to school in August, I'm like, oh my God, that's got to be the worst to try to cool that building down. But then again, I have a friend in commercial AC and he probably loves it. But
I think in part it has to do because of the adjusted schedules. Because I remember in junior high, because of the amount of time we needed to make up, they removed 1 minute of our break time, or one of the not lunch, but our break, to add 1 minute to all our regular schedule in order to make the time before we finish school. So I think because there's a later start now, they are having to make up the time, hence why they're having to start earlier, is the only thing I can think of.
Well, we started always, again, on the East Coast. I grew up in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania until I went to junior high, and then I moved to Southern Pennsylvania. And I want to tell you guys, the biggest thing we had is if you had a bad winter. All right. And I remember one winter that we had a week that we were off school for a week because of storms. All right. And now that meant second, third week of June, you're still in school making up those days. Like, they had the schedule to where they could deal with like seven, if they had seven snow days planned in just in case. I mean, in that part of the country, all right, you can go to bed thinking, yeah, we're going to be fine tomorrow. And the next morning you wake up and there's 2 foot of snow and the buses aren't traveling in 2 foot of snow. And I know down here we get we get a white flake on the ground, and all right, they cancel school. We got a white flake on the ground. They said, okay, stay home and shovel the snow for your parents for 2 hours, and then the bus will come by to pick you up.
Sounds about right. That sounds like Oregon.
Anyway, so man, we're an hour into the show today. We had a good show today.
This was fun.
And I never thought we'd have enough information on the back to school thing. But then again, I mean, my kids are 31, 32, 36, 39. So I'm well out of practice of what back to school is, guys. Well out of practice on that. All right. And I'm still probably 4 years away from my grandson going to school. So I don't understand this concept. It's not something been around. When my kid was in school, we didn't really go, hey, we're going to drink. At that point in time in my life, it was the two of us went back to work because that's what we had to do to just pay the bills back then. But that, the 90s were a different time. So
True story on that.
Yeah.
So hopefully y'all came up with some good ideas. We will share this information on our Facebook page. Make sure you like us on Facebook, on YouTube, and go to all your favorite channels, Spotify, iTunes, where you can hear us. And please share. If you have learned something, if you find us goofy and funny, informative, please share.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Yes, we want to continue to grow this show. We want to be your number 2 favorite podcast.
No, we want to be your favorite podcast.
We don't have to be number 1. We can be we can be number 2.
Hey, I'll take 100 people listening a week. That's all I care about.
And we do have quite a few downloads, y'all. But make sure you go to the Insiders Club, likethewayyoudrink.com.
Yeah.
You do have to be 21 or over to join because we don't want to get in trouble.
Yep.
You have to attest that you're 21 or over because we will be sharing recipes that are not on our regular podcast. We will be sharing events that you can come to. It is free to join. The only cost for you is if you do decide to travel to one of our locations in either Portland or Texas.
The events, the events cost money, and you have to try. It's at your own expense to come to our event.
And there are some events that we can get you in for free. if we know you're coming, but you do need to travel, so your travel expenses. We're not going to cover that. Sorry, as much as we would love to cover you, it's an added expense. We're not traveling ourselves, So,
we can't afford to travel. We're too busy buying the drinks to afford. No,
that does happen. We have reduced our expense on alcohol because we have our liquor field that we're now just pulling from what we have in order to come up with new drinks. And when somebody says, "Hey, let me have you try something new," I'm going to say, "Okay,
sure, send me a bottle." And we've had a few people send us bottles, and we're not asking you to send bottles so we have a drink. No, we're sending bottles so we can test it on air.
Fun stuff.
But it gets expensive. Like, we did notice that. There's one thing we noticed about the podcast in the very beginning is it gets expensive tasting alcohol real quick.
We had to adjust. That's okay. That's part of growing pains.
Yeah.
You appreciate you all being here.
2.5 years of doing it, 3.5 years of doing it. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes.
So, anyway, go to likethewayyoudrink.com. Join our Insiders Club. Got a lot of neat things coming up with the Insiders Club as always. All right, you got to be 21 to join. Go check that out. Gladys and I put this on every week. It is up to it is our way of supporting you and sharing our businesses. Our businesses pay the bills on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. All right. While we are not like big on, hey, we got to follow this commercial, we're going to do a quick commercials about our businesses because we do pay the bills. So let's start with Gladys. As always, ladies first.
Thank you. Gladys Boutwell, Insurance by Design, helping employers become employer of choice. Small employers have a difficult time competing with the bigger businesses that are providing benefits. But you know what? There's 101 different ways that small employers can show their employees how much they care about them. Get onto my calendar. Insurance Design Pros is my website, so you can see all the benefits that I do. But if you just want to have the conversation on what can I do for my staff, it doesn't matter what state you're in, I will help you. Go to enrollnoworegon.com. That you will get you to my calendar. We will have the conversation, and I will also find you a local broker if I can't help you. Gladys Boutwell, Insurance by Design, and this is my co-host.
Hey guys, thank you, Gladys. My name is Tim Gillette, Simple Easy Websites. When I started this podcast, Simple Easy Marketing is my brand. Simple Easy Websites is one of our companies that does websites for the small business person, the entrepreneur, the solopreneur. We're the guy that helps you get going, build your business, get started, build it in a way that you can afford it. We're not going to give you the rundown of how to do it and how to get rich. No, we want to get you started, get you out online and build your SEO up the natural way, not go in there and try to shortcut the system and run yourself broke. SimpleEasyWebsites.com. You can check it out. You can actually book a free consultation with us, all right, or get our free website planner and come to one of our classes so you can learn how to make yourself effective in websites. My other brands, Simple Easy Websites, Simple Easy Events, Simple Easy Automation. There's a lot of things I do with Simple Easy Marketing, making what you do online very simple, very easy, getting you results one step at a time. That's it. Anything else?
Thanks for being here, y'all. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.